the following gentleman is an inspiration to me, and he will also be an inspiration to all of you by the end of the talk. If you're coming into the room, you're in the right place. You're about to get some knowledge bombs from East Africa. His name is Brindon Mwiine, am I saying that right? And he comes all the way from Uganda. He runs Gorilla Sats, he runs the Bitcoin circular economies there. He just does wonderful things in East Africa. Give it up for Brindon.
Thank you.
Well done, dude.
Good morning, Lugano. Good morning. How are you doing? So, I was for a run in the morning, and I realized something. There was 2 of us running that looked like me. So I just want to do a room temperature check. I am doing the Bitcoin effect on entrepreneurship lessons from East Africa. How many know where East Africa is? How many have been to any country in East Africa? Leave your hands up. How many have done business in East Africa? Oh, nice. So we have some good context. So my name is Brindon. I will just leave you with that. And as we go through the presentation, I will highlight some of the things I do. The most important thing that I want us to think about as Bitcoiners is Bitcoin is still money. And at the core of money, we are still supporting the economy. So, this is to share with you what we have learned using Bitcoin and doing business in East Africa. So, what is East Africa? For those who have been in East Africa, you do know that entrepreneurship isn't a choice. It's not. We do not do entrepreneurship because we like it. It's a necessity. It has become our superpower. And why is that? The average East African, once they are done with school, they do not have a job. So what do? They hustle out. It's called the hustle culture. I'll do this, I'll do that, and I'll find me some money. But this superpower has come at the right time, because East Africa is one of the biggest regions with the youngest people in Africa. You know the statistic, they usually tell you that half of Africa is young? Well, with East Africa, we have 65% being under the age of 30. So if you think 65% of a region, and East Africa has about 6 countries, what does that mean? It means in 10 years, you will have people who are ready to serve whichever business you will run in East Africa. That's 1. 2, East Africa is so beautiful. 2 in 10 of the young adults are involved in entrepreneurship. Just think about what that means. It means there's a lot of businesses. It means that all these people are ready to be nurtured to serve the growing population. Now, the assessment that I have learned is that not only are there 2 in 10, but also more than 50% of the employed youth in East Africa actually have a side business. So clearly there's something that we are learning from East Africa. There is more when it comes to serving the market than it is being employed in the market. So as Bitcoiners who are doing business in East Africa, we have come to learn or think or get advantages in these ways. These are the lessons I'm going to share with you, and they're going to remind you that Bitcoin is not just a store of value, that Bitcoin has another side of the coin, right? So, before we get into the lessons from Bitcoin, but what is holding back these entrepreneurs? Why are they not in the rooms where business is being done? Why are their businesses not going global? The first thing is they are running with currencies that are stealing from them. Every time they make a profit, they keep their money in the bank. When they go back, it's 10% less valuable. When I say 10%, most people don't get it. If you kept $10,000, that could buy you a sofa that you can put in your house, and you went back to buy it in 1 year, and you had to pay 12,000. Well, for us, it's not 1 year. Sometimes it's 1 week. Sometimes it's 2 weeks. So think about, you've hit the best business deal you have ever hit. You've made profits. You're like, I'll pack it here a bit. I'll go celebrate. Once I'm back, I'll put it back into my business. By the time you're reinvesting it into your business, you've lost 25% sometimes. So the currencies being unstable is a very big factor. Banking exclusion. Well, that to Bitcoiners, I don't need to say much because you already know what's going on. But there's a core ingredient I want to add for you. If you're doing business in a region where it takes 3 business days to complete an international transaction, you are more likely to serve the local market. If you're employed internationally and it will take about 15% for your transaction, for your salary to be completed, and it will take 3 business days, you are more likely to serve the local market. So there's genius in East Africa, but it is not connected to the world. You're about to find out how Bitcoin is helping out on that. Inflation and corruption, we have been branded as the corrupt continent of the world. I do not take pleasure in that, but I am aware. Where does the corruption stem from? Entrepreneurs need to be empowered to fight against corruption. Because right now they are at the mercy of these same corrupt people. So they need to do business with the world to be able to supersede the rules of their countries. For me to stand up to a government, I need to contribute actively to the economy to tell them, if you do this, I'm out of this country. If I'm contributing 20% to your economy and you annoy me, I just walk out. So policy has to be like this. Clearly, the policy that we have in Africa is being drafted favoring international companies. The banking cartel, remember? Because if every transaction that is happening on the continent has to be processed from the UK, from the US, the transaction fee is going back. I'm coming for you. Capital flight. Where is capital going? If the banking headquarters, if the banking infrastructure is built to transact or to process all the transactions that happen on the continent, from outside of the continent, majority of that stays. It doesn't come back. Every time I swipe my card to pay for a flight, okay, now I don't. There's Travala, there's Bitcoin Travel, so I no longer need to do that. But every time I pay for a flight, every time I swipe at a local restaurant that has a card payment, a bit of that capital that I have contributed to the entrepreneur stays out of my continent. We have identified the problem, right? What's the first lesson? What is Bitcoin to East Africa? There's something that is happening within the entrepreneurial space. All the entrepreneurs that understand Bitcoin have changed their perception about how they think about money, how they think about transacting, how they think about ownership. Because right now, I can own something that is treasured by both the Swiss and the South Africans. I previously couldn't. And even if I did, I had to rely on a system that was controlled by the same people that I'm trying to look like. Now, Bitcoin does not require permission. I do not require permission from anyone to work with Bitcoin, to save my business proceeds in Bitcoin. I have global access to capital. I have a very funny story. One of the people that I raised from was just in the room. And it took us exactly 15 minutes to close a funding round. We went on a trip. They enjoyed the experience I gave them. They told me, Brindon, are you taking investment? I said, yes. Which bank? He said, no. I'll just send you Bitcoin. We completed the transaction before we went back to our hotel. It was not much. It took our business from having no tour van to us right now having our own tour van. No government, no nothing. Why is that important? Because Bitcoin has created a new model. Bitcoin is now education and enterprise. It's a new hybrid model. If you have looked at the African continent, you know what's going on. If you recognize any of the logos up here, or the face, that's Felix, one of the known educators. While people stand and give keynotes, the African Bitcoin entrepreneurs are pairing those keynotes with services. So majority of these companies are doing education, but they do not stop there. They are consulting on a personal level for people on how to self-custody. They are teaching people how to work with Bitcoin efficiently. They are selling products, t-shirts, stickers. They are making money serving the Bitcoin space. So think about the model that you love when it comes to education and add products on it. Now they can sell these products internationally and collect payments on the day and collect full payments, which means they don't have to overprice you. They don't, because they can make money from all over the world selling these courses. They can make money from all over the world selling these products. And they will get settled on the day before they even need to ship out, which means you've just given them capital. Sometimes the business doesn't even need capital, it just needs someone who believes in it. And this is what is happening. Bitcoin is not just digital, it's a destination. I've just given you a story about Gorilla Sats. The company that I run is called Gorilla Sats. It's a safari company based in East Africa. And we did not start with any capital. You people in the room believed in us and said, I want to come visit East Africa. And I told one of you, and I said, it's a 60% booking fee. And some of you send 100%, and I receive it on the same day, and I make your bookings, and you come and we have a good time. I save my clients money when they pay me in Bitcoin because they don't have to pay the fees. I save time because they can pay me 2 days, 3 days before they arrive for their own security, for their own confidence, and I will still be able to pull off the trip. The previous tour operators who are still operating on the banking sector, you have to book, give it 4 business days, and in case you want to cancel, you also need 4 business days to get your refund. You can pay me today morning and change your mind in the evening, and I will refund you by 8 p.m. Think about what that does for the confidence of my client. Think about what that does for the confidence of someone who is coming to East Africa to spend. But they're also not just coming to tour. They're coming to learn. Because East Africa has a different DNA. If you've not heard about mobile money, you need to look out for it. Mobile money is Bitcoin on the fiat rails. That's what I call it. People move money from phones without internet instantly. And here we are thinking that we need internet. Well, Bitcoin also moves without internet. If you do not know about a company called Machankura, look for it. So what is going on in East Africa that we are learning? That you can make payments instantly, something that Europeans are used to, but we were not. So Bitcoin is payments instantly. What does that mean for an East African? There is a very big gig economy. Remember the 50% that have side jobs? They are trying to make money online. They are doing small tasks. And they need to be paid. And that money is lunch. They can't wait for 3 business days. They can't wait for 2. They can't pay 20% transaction fees overall. What do? They look to Bitcoin. The companies that you see here are revolutionizing Bitcoin payments in East Africa. You can buy Bitcoin and spend it instantly anywhere in East Africa. Tando, Bitika, Chapsmart, Gorilla Sats. These are companies in the 3 East African countries, and there's more coming up. What does that mean? It means if you choose to hire a graphics designer, you can pay them once they deliver your work, and they will still be happy because they can use that money instantly. So, if you are thinking the old Africa, welcome to the new one. Bitcoin is not just an asset, my friends, it's a culture. You are thinking store of value. No. It's a culture. What you see in the background is Bitcoin music by a man like Quakes. He's a Bitcoin artist based in Tanzania. What did he do? He got his talent, he learned about Bitcoin, and he's making music. How is that making for him money? He uploads it on a platform that is enabled by Bitcoin. And you and me, when we like his songs, we can send him $1, $2 to appreciate. $1 is very easy to give, but he just sent the Rocker. Rocker is one of the young people who was participating in the Dance Battle Festival. It's a competition that has dancers in Tanzania. And all of them, once they are done dancing, they can just show you your QR code. If you just liked how they moved, you send them sats. So why are we paying Spotify? Why are we paying Netflix if we can pay the real entertainers? If you are part of a company that is an entertainment company, ask yourself, what are people consuming from your platform? And would people want to connect directly with the people who are entertaining them? This is the model. These guys have already unlocked it. If you want to know the most interesting circular economy in East Africa, Bitcoin Arusha. Why? Because the economy is not on the ground. The economy is the world. These guys upload videos, nice videos. I personally have zapped them multiple times. And the world says thank you. And they get those sats and they take them to the local vendors. That process would initially take a month to the least for money to go from one side of the world to the other. And there would be intermediaries that would take half of that money. So why are we not telling the world about this? Bitcoin is making positive impact. If you pair Bitcoin and purpose, if you pair Bitcoin with impact, you get something phenomenal. What you see at the bottom are circular economies in East Africa. What do? They find a problem in the local community, they organize around it, and they solve it. How do they do it? They talk to their friends. Their friends contribute $1, $2, $3. They use that same money to solve the problem. This is what I am doing in Uganda. The one to the far, depending on the side you are, the extreme end, Bitcoin Kampala. We are using Bitcoin to look after 115 children. And people like you, people like me, are able to contribute to community efforts across the world that are special to us instantly. I do not know how I can emphasize how important that is. Because you don't need to fast travel, you don't need to fast go to the bank and explain why you're sending money to a mysterious project. You can just, and you also don't need to help with a lot. Because we assume you need to help with a lot of money. But you don't. In fact, if you helped with what you're comfortable with, you get to help more. And if you helped and all the value of what you used to help reached the person you're helping, they would not need continuous help. The impact that we have garnered through the Bitcoin circular economies is incredible. But if you look at the money that we have spent versus what traditional charity spends, it's crazy, guys. We are leaving a lot of money on the table for the bankers to take. So all these stories, there are more. I cannot finish. East Africa is a very big region. There's many stories on this. There is, to the corner, there is something we just did in Uganda whereby our longest business, our longest serving snacks business was rebranded thanks to the sats he has earned in Bitcoin. All these stories are documented on the different platforms that we have. There is a gym that operates in Bitcoin in Kenya. There's a pool table. There is a honey project that runs on Bitcoin. But the core lessons that I can summarize for you as I finish is, I'll first add in this quote from Ludwig. The creative energy of the entrepreneur is the foundation of a free and prosperous society. What does that mean to me? It means that if you empower me, who is not trying to rip off society, I actually contribute. But what does that mean? It means that the system is working in my favor. I am not being stopped when I try to exercise my creative abilities. I am actually being encouraged. I don't need encouragement from Uganda. You people encourage me from wherever you are in the world. Because when I say I want to try out something, you're behind me. John Nakamoto is already sending me sats. Thank you, sir. Because it's that is leading to the growth that is happening in East Africa. So what are the lessons that I bring you? African entrepreneurs are using Bitcoin differently. We are not paying big salaries to our employees. We are paying them in Bitcoin and we are leaving it to Bitcoin to do the rest. Because if you paid someone in Bitcoin for the last 4 years, whenever you reach, they will hold the door. Because the impact that Bitcoin has had on them is incredible. So the salary could be the same. We could be walking around all earning $1,000. But if my $1,000 is in Bitcoin, it's much more. Because then I have unlocked another layer of their thinking. I've unlocked their consciousness towards how they spend, what they eat. We all know what Bitcoin does to us. You can build your own Bitcoin customers. What businesses are doing is, for example, the circular economies. We go find people, teach them about Bitcoin, and they come back to support our businesses. I run Gorilla Sats. I teach people about Bitcoin. When they get it, they keep their Bitcoin, grows in value, they go for a safari. I win. I win, they win. The most important thing about Bitcoin is you don't go with Bitcoin first. Find what problem is there and solve it, and then add Bitcoin. Every time we approach people, we are like, you should buy Bitcoin. No, it's not the most urgent thing. Find the most urgent thing that is going on in someone's life in a community. Solve it, and then propose Bitcoin. Do not abandon everything for Bitcoin. I know people are telling you should sell your house, sell everything and put it in Bitcoin. No. No. But you can add Bitcoin into everything you do. That's what I personally did. I like speaking to people. I speak to them about Bitcoin. I love children so much. I take care of children using Bitcoin. I like to tour. I accept Bitcoin for tours. So what do? Do you sell chairs? Sell chairs in Bitcoin. Become the example that you're trying to get people to become. Because only holding Bitcoin will not, you all know that you're not having a good time trying to convince people to hold Bitcoin. Because when you hold it, they don't know what's going on in your wallet. But when you live the life that you're trying to show them, it's very easy. So if you don't have a small business, go and start a coffee shop. The role of that coffee shop is not for you to make money. No, you already have money. Start the coffee shop, make sure it accepts Bitcoin. Every time someone says Bitcoin doesn't work, drag them there. So it's very important for you to remember that a Bitcoin transaction is more important than you saving in Bitcoin. That's why circular economies are very important. So if you ever find someone who builds a circular economy, give them a kudos. So what we are doing is we are proposing something. There is a different nature to Bitcoin businesses. But there is no one who is organizing. There's no one who is putting this into a framework. There's no one who is creating a model around it. There is a model for impact and Bitcoin. It's called the Bitcoin circular economies, right? But what's the model for business and Bitcoin? Who is nurturing businesses like mine? Because definitely I don't know everything that needs to be done in the world about business. So this is what I am proposing to the world. And I am not doing it alone. I'm looking for people to join me. We need to nurture small businesses that will change the landscape of how we use Bitcoin. I am very initial thoughts on the Bitcoin Startup Accelerator, but definitely there is a Bitcoin effect on entrepreneurship. And it's high time we nurture it. So I'll end by thanking you. You've been a very good audience. Sometimes I can pace a lot. I tend to run in the morning to make sure I'm not doing it often, so I hope I didn't do it as much. But there is something happening on the continent of Africa. There is a new way of doing Bitcoin. And it involves you actually living the Bitcoin itself. So if you have time, check out what's going on in the continent. Thank you so much.